In the wake of the Mueller report, allegations of corruption continue to plague the FBI. One person who experienced this corruption firsthand is former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, who offered up some candid criticism of the agency in a conversation with One America's John Hines. Take a listen.
The name Carter Page is now famous, likely to linger in the pages of history for generations, as someone who bore the full weight of a misguided FBI investigation. He took a break from the Judicial Watch panel investigating the investigators to talk to One America News exclusively and walk us through the FBI mission statement about how, in the case of Carter Page, the agency utterly failed. Talk about your message here and talk about this, I guess, PowerPoint slide, essentially.
Well, it's actually right from the FBI's website. These are the FBI's priorities. And unfortunately, I have been a supporter of the FBI, a volunteer for them for many, many years. And unfortunately, you know, if you actually look at what their main priorities are, going right down the list, it represents the actual antithesis of what they've been doing in terms of these the problems that they've created for the Trump administrations and members of the Trump movement. Then there is, you know, these acts that are in violation of criminal laws. And as we've seen thus far, there's been a lot of allegations and some significant evidence that there were significant laws broken, including, most especially, right up the block here at the U.S. Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, false pleadings, false testimony related to their illegal wiretaps against me.
Against the famous Carter Page FISA warrant.
Well, I mean, it's really, as Tom Fitton and others from Judicial Watch say, it's got my name on the top, but it was really designed to hack and wiretap President Trump and his supporters.
So this is really pointing out this is the absence or the corruption of these points that you're talking about here. Is that essentially?
It's the, you know, the priorities, the mission of the FBI, they were really acting, it's the opposite in almost every way. I mean, you just go right down the list.
Your name will live on in the history books and will go down in time as a prominent name in the history of the FBI and the history of corruption. Do you feel, ironically in some ways, do you feel that somehow you are doing a service? I mean, because all of this has come up in connection with you and the abuse targeted towards you, in a way, it's highlighting this abuse which has occurred and the potential is there to occur against all kinds of Americans. Talk about potentially the change this may bring about in the future.
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, there's been some great leaders in Congress, particularly Chairman Graham, Congressman Nunes, Congressman Collins, that have worked to get the truth out there and really dig into some of these. You know, they started this, or they were an early driver in terms of uncovering this corruption, as well as some great news reporters like yourself and, you know, the team at One America News, digging up these facts, you know, in the face of this corrupt media that was really, you know, working in the opposite direction, and again, creating risks to people's lives. So, you know, we'll have to see.
You're being very modest.
Well, it's you know, like President Trump and candidate Trump and President-elect Trump always said, you know, it's not about me. It's, you know, this did great damage to a lot of people. So I'm, you know, I feel terrible for them, and you know, I only wish I would have fought back harder and earlier. So I guess better late than never, though.
John Hines, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.